Now for the track guide. Guys, if you want to improve at a quicker pace, check out my courses in the video description, car-specific courses or even a racing technique racing course. They can take you from beginner to advanced. Now going into the track guide itself, for turn 1 the reference for braking here will be the 50 meter board. Slightly before the 50 you want to apply the brakes. You want to brake initially in a straight line. Make sure you're using this space to the left of the white line. I know the margin for error is small here, but if you want to extract everything, especially in qualifying, you really need to use everything. So there's a bit more space to the left side of the white line. We're trying to put the tire all the way to the gravel. And there's one more thing I want to add. The temperature that we had in this test session was quite high, 50 degrees Celsius. So if you find that in the race the temperature is lower, you might be able to go a bit quicker. Now, braking into this corner, going to third gear, super important around here to trail brake for longer. You need a late apex. Late apex or trail brake for longer. Make sure you're putting the right tire on this curb, because you can cut it like this. And go on throttle quite aggressive initially. When you will go on curb, because this car has a softer suspension, it will allow you to just mount it like we did, but when you're landing, it's important to be prepared to counter steer a tiny bit. That's super important. Now for the next corner, your reference for turning into this corner will be the end of the green. Make sure you're using, and you can almost cut a bit of the gravel right here, and at the end of the green, you will be braking, turning into a corner. Don't brake too hard, stay in third gear. Don't brake too hard, you're just using the brakes to help turning the car, not to slow it down, and then pushing the throttle once again, using all the track on your way out. And now this section is quite tricky. Make sure you're going all the way to the right side. At the 50, you will first turn into this corner. So look, we're turning after the 50 meter board with 100% throttle. Then when you get closer, you just do a lift. And if you feel like the car is still not turning enough, you will apply the brakes. Like, we're trying to extract as much speed as we can on entry, and when we see that the car, okay, is not turning enough, because we want, ideally on our way out, we want to be here on the left on the white line. So because the car needs more turning force, we're just gonna apply the brakes, no more than 20%, in third gear, and we just want to take almost like a double apex approach. So on our way out, we'll be on the left side. So the car track house wide to the center. We're still holding the brakes throughout all this thing to make the car point. Still holding the brakes in the 8% range. Still holding the brakes, And at this point in time where the car pointed enough, we're gonna smash the throttle and we go over the curb like this. And it's not gonna be an off track. See, and this is exactly what we wanted. Like I said, we wanted to have the car on the left side here on the white line. So from this point onward, after the car lands, we just keep it center, the wheel center, for a tiny moment for the weight to settle. And then we're turning towards the right side into this corner, going into fourth gear, getting very close to this curb, but not going on the green like this. And after we go past the curb, we try to brake almost diagonally in a straight line like this, pointing towards the red curb on the left side. In third gear, hitting the curb with our left tire, hitting the white line, and then downshifting to second while we still turn. Notice that we have to trail brake a lot into this corner, still braking, and after we hit the curb on the inside, we're putting the throttle down. Now this is tricky once again. So this track is very difficult. It's not easy, especially if you're having this temperature like 15 degrees. It will be very hard to keep the car at the limit. So now in third gear, we're aiming around this curb around here. We're pressing the brake because we want to have a very tight line around here, downshifting to second. If you noticed in the previous tracks, we went to second gear quite just in a few places, but on this track we go to second gear quite often. So hitting this curb, making sure we're cutting it while we're still holding the brakes like this, because ideally what we want to have when we push the throttle down is the car being closer to the left side here, near the white line. You're gonna go to third gear, and now we're gonna brake in second gear once again, long trail brake once again, and pushing the throttle, that we're gonna push the car all the way to the gravel. See? Quite difficult. Keeping the car on the left hand side, reference for braking will be the beginning of the curve here on the left, or when the track goes towards the left side, you will brake on a straight line. You're aiming to brake on this curb. You will turn before hitting the curb though. So turning in the corner in third gear, pushing the throttle and making sure you're cutting this curb. Ideally, you want to be all the way on the right side, on the white line, before turning into the next corner. So look, when we're turning the steering wheel, the car is very close to the white line. Now for this corner, you're gonna brake the moment that you will start turning. So when you start to turn, that's when you're gonna apply the brakes. You don't want to brake in a straight line and then turn. So the reference for braking will be the reference for turning in, and that's exactly when you position the car. So you don't have enough time to just look for a reference. You will do it mostly on feel. Now braking into this corner and making sure you're not going over the green, because if you go over the green, you will overslow the car or you will push the car all the way to the inside. So apexing around the curb, around the white line, pushing the throttle, making sure the car arrives in the center of the track. At the moment that the car arrives, that's the moment that, and the car settles, that's the moment where you start turning into the next corner. In this corner though, you will cut the green. So you will do a small lift when you go completely over the green, then push the throttle once again. And in short, that's a lap around here. It's a very difficult track, very technical layout, and quite hot temps. So make sure you're taking it easier, make sure you're in a way slowing more on entry so you can properly position the car, because the line that you will have in the corners, especially in the middle sector, with those twitchy left and right corners, you must open up the corner. So it's more important to have a proper entry into the corner by going slower and opening up than, you know, just carrying more speed. So this is what I encourage you to do. Hope you like it, hope you enjoy it. If you want to improve at a quicker pace, check out my website. Looking forward to see you in the next one. Bye bye.